QBuild software. Today we're going to take a look at CADLink for Acumatica. A bit on QBuild before I jump into the actual demo here. So QBuild software, what we do is all of our products and activities here revolve around reducing engineering costs by making engineers more productive. So we really specialize in that engineering to ERP integration, allowing engineers to spend more time on engineering instead of data management, enabling swift, clear, cross-department communication, making life easier for engineering and manufacturing folks on both sides of that equation. We have offices across the world. I'm coming to you today from Toronto in our headquarters here, but we have offices in Germany and in the EU, and also in Japan now. So we really across the globe in our time zones that we can support. Bit of background on QBuild here in terms of just the size. So we have just over 2,000 customers in manufacturing, 20 years of engineering to ERP integration experience here at QBuild. We've got 50 plus engineering design integration partners and 50 plus ERP integration partners. So we bring all of that experience and partnerships to every project that we do here. We've got a great project management team. If some of those CAD, PDM, some of those engineering partners logos you're going to see on the screen here, some of the integrations that we do to Acumatica. You'll see things like SolidWorks here, of course, and all of the other solutions that surround SolidWorks. So PDM and SolidWorks Manage, even 3DX, which didn't even make the list here. It's a big list. We've got all of the Autodesk products, Siemens products, PTC, and more. So you'll even see solutions like Tekla and Altium and OrCAD and even Cabinavision we've connected to Acumatica and other ERP systems. You'll also see nesting down there in the bottom right. So if any of those logos look familiar, we also have solutions to connect those to our to Acumatica through NestLink. So how do we accomplish all of these different integrations? Well, that's through our Q Suite series of products. We have kind of three products here that build up the core of the Q Suite: CADLink, NestLink, and ECX Manager. But today we're going to focus in on CADLink. So CADLink is a tool to connect CAD, PDM, and PLM, bill of material design data to Acumatica. So if you need a tool to connect that engineering bill of material data, CADLink is the one you'll want to connect those details. So why would you need CADLink? Well, you're going to have commonly in these engineer to order companies or make to order companies, you're going to have CAD designers on one side who are providing item details and doing the actual design of models and bills of materials. And on the other, you're going to have some folks in ERP, production planners, maybe the procurement team, other manufacturing engineers. And without a tool to connect them, they parts and BOMs are going to get caught up in the middle, of course. So common challenges that we hear, if you're manually entering data from one system to another, obviously that's error prone, it's time consuming. And on top of all of that, you're having engineers actually do this data entry or perhaps even a dedicated bill of material clerk or additional employee doing that work. And engineers, those are highly paid folks. You want them doing the actual high value engineering rather than doing this BOM data entry. So as a result of not connecting those two sides of the equation, engineering and manufacturing, you're going to have slow engineering because you're going to have engineers actually doing the data entry work here. You're going to run into more wrong build and wrong inventory situations. It's going to increase shop error, general scrapped parts from having the wrong kind of item in your bill of material. And all in all, lead to frustration on the shop floor before you've really even got into the manufacturing process. So that's where CADLink comes in. CADLink, like this little diagram here shows, is the tool that sits in between your CAD, PDM, or PLM, those engineering systems, and Acumatica. It sits in between and can synchronize the bill of material and item list on either side. So let's on demo day here, let's jump into a demo. So on the screen now, you'll see one of the CAD systems that we integrate with. This is Autodesk Inventor. All of the different CAD, PDM, and PLM systems that we integrate with, the CADLink interface and what CADLink is actually doing with Acumatica is really going to be identical. The only difference is where we're launching CADLink from. So inside Inventor here, like with many of the mechanical CAD systems, we have an add-in for CADLink. And inside this add-in, there are a couple of different options for running CADLink against Acumatica. So we can run CADLink against a standard bill of material in Acumatica. We can also run CADLink against directly against a production order bill of material in Acumatica. So we can go directly to a production order or through the standard BOM in the system. So for the purpose of today's quick demo here, you can think of me as an engineer, right? I've got a model here open in Inventor, and we want to make some changes to Acumatica, right? Maybe we've made changes to this model already. We've maybe added a new part, maybe we've removed a part. Bottom line, we've made changes in engineering that we now need to make in Acumatica, right? We maybe need to create new parts, create a new bill of material level. We need to update Acumatica so that the folks in manufacturing, those folks on the shop floor, have the most up-to-date and accurate bill of material here. So rather than try and manually enter all of this data, what we're going to do is run CADLink directly from inside Inventor. I'm going to run the standard bill of material here, but CADLink looks very similar no matter which version of the bill of material we're running. You'll see here CADLink is a first step looking through my Inventor bill of material and looking at all of the assembly and subassembly and parts that we have in our tree here, and then running a comparison against any existing information that might already be in Acumatica. Once it's finished that comparison, it's going to bring me to this screen here. This is the main CADLink interface. And on the left side here, we have our CADLink BOM grid. So the BOM grid here, this is the same multi-level bill of material that we would have saw coming out of Inventor. So we're pulling those details into the system here. You can see this part here has a couple of levels to its bill of material. And all of the different colors that you see on the screen are CADLink's way of showing me the results of the comparison that it just did. So if I see any of these rows here that are entirely white, this is CADLink telling me that this part is already synchronized between what I have in this case in Inventor and what we have in Acumatica. So CADLink sees this part number in Inventor, finds a match in Acumatica, and then compares all the different fields that I've mapped here in my settings, compares those between the two systems. So description, revision, quantity, item class, unit of measure, really any, and actually any item, BOM material, or attribute can be mapped from Acumatica and brought and compared to the Inventor side. So you're very flexible in terms of the actual data here that we're comparing. Now, if any of those fields didn't match between the two systems, CADLink is going to highlight that to me with this yellow highlighting. So the yellow highlight here is telling me that there is a field level difference between the record of this item in my case here, Inventor, and Acumatica. And if I click in, I can see exactly what that difference is. So here you can see my CAD description is longer, perhaps more precise than what I've got in Acumatica at the moment. So in this window, we can actually make a selection. I can take my CAD description, which is what I have CADLink actually defaulting to do at the moment, in which case, when I hit save in the top left, which is how I actually commit my changes to Acumatica, CADLink will update this existing Acumatica item with this description that's come directly from my CAD system. So we can update those items to match what we've got in Inventor. And same thing goes for any of my yellow highlights there. So here we've got a difference in quantity. I could, though, select the ERP or the Acumatica description here. So perhaps this is the more accurate value. for my description, I can go ahead, select that Acumatica value. And now when I hit save, CADLink will leave this item as is in Acumatica, but it'll be able to bring this description back down to Inventor, back down to my CAD system, and update that property so that it is synchronized with what we've got in Acumatica. So that at the end of the day, someone's looking at a bill of material or an item in Acumatica and the same in engineering, they're looking at the same set of data. Lastly here for our quick overview is all of these parts here in green. Everything here is a brand new item to Acumatica. So any highlighted in green here, this is the part that CADLink found in the CAD system, found this part number here in our CAD. But when it went to Acumatica to find a match, didn't find a matching part for this inventory ID. That means that this part will be brand new to the system. So CADLink highlights it to me in green, highlights the whole row there to me in green to let me know that this is a brand new part that CADLink will create. So once I hit the save button here, CADLink's going to create this new part and create it with all of the details that it can pull from the CAD system. So obviously our part number here, but also description and adding this part to the bill of material with the proper quantity, item class, unit of measure. Again, any field that you want to map into Acumatica, you can do in the settings. So CADLink can not only update items and bills of materials in Acumatica, it can also create brand new items and brand new bills of materials in the system as well. The other thing here that we're doing is with this red highlight is validating the data that we're sending into Acumatica is going to follow any of Acumatica's rules. So Acumatica might have, your Acumatica might have a rule on the length of inventory ID or perhaps the length of the description, or in this case, whether or not the description exists at all. CADLink knows those rules and can help us flag any of those before we ultimately save this into Acumatica. So we've got our messages here that will tell us more information on exactly what that is missing. On the right-hand side, we've got our bill of materials tab, and this is where we can see that CADLink has also added operations to the equation here. So, of course, when we're creating a bill of material in Acumatica, CADLink is also adding our bill of material. It's setting up our step 10, of course, but we can also add additional line items or additional routes to this bill of material. So I can go ahead, select route 20 there, select the work center from a dropdown. That's all of the work centers that you would have in your system. And then I can even drag and drop the parts down to that operation. So we can go that step further than just the engineering bill of material. We can go ahead and start adding routing. We can add even additional line items, to this bill of material that you might not have in engineering, and really bring a full, complete picture of the BOM into Acumatica. A couple more slides to close this off here before I am running out of time. Just want to touch on the main benefits again, of course, reducing engineering costs and improving accuracy, right? We're reducing those non-value added engineering activities that engineering might have to be doing, eliminating the double, triple data entry they might be doing in 2 or 3 disparate systems at the moment. Improving that accuracy reduces the scrap, improves the purchasing accuracy, and just builds that synergy between engineering and production. So if you like what you saw today and you want to learn more, definitely reach out to myself or directly to your VAR for pricing and to schedule a discovery call. Your VAR will be able to get you pricing on CADLink. It is part of the Fulfilled by Acumatica program. I have been Carson Fletcher. You can reach out to me directly as well with any questions to schedule a discovery call or a more in-depth demo. Thanks for everybody's time today.
Thank you so much, Carson. That's great.
Thanks, Amy.
You're welcome. And then there were 3. Okay, we have 3 left. Very excited for the last 3 that we have for today. So Terry from Muse is up next. Terry, are you ready?
Hi, can you hear me well, Amy?
I can.
Okay, wonderful. I am ready. I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be. So let me go ahead and share my screen here and please let me know whenever you see it'll be a blue slide. Operational efficiency. meets financial control.
It's loading. And I see it. You're good to go.
Okay, wonderful. So firstly, thank you for inviting Muse to be here today. We're really pleased to be a part of ISB Society. And over the next few minutes, we're really going to focus on how Use integrated with Acumatica brings lean financial operations to life. So really, this isn't just about adding another AP tool. It's about creating operational efficiency with financial control to protect your margins and really giving finance leaders speed, control, and real-time visibility directly inside of their ERP. So I'm Terry Spalsbury, and I'm a senior account executive here at Use, and we focus on the framework of lean financial operations, which is all about fighting waste, fighting risk, and really defeating fraud to bring your company growth and profitability. So today we're going to dive into a few key features of lean financial operations and AP automation that Use and Acumatica together can bring to your organization. So I hope that you leave here seeing how this solution can help you reduce your risk, waste, and help protect your margins. So let's start with the big question, right? Why are we even talking about accounts payable? And the answer to that is because AP is under more pressure than ever. Transaction volumes keep climbing, and with that comes more vendor issues, more invoices to process, and more supplier calls to juggle. So if your approvals are still manual or paper-based, every step gets slower and more frustrating. Paper takes up space, it's hard to track, and once it's filed, good luck finding it when you need it again, right? Uh, when processes are manual, people feel the strain. Teams stay late fixing tiny errors, invoices bounce around between inboxes and desks just to get one single approval, and suppliers often wait for updates and can become quite frustrated. Eventually, that pressure turns into burnout, and the cost isn't just financial, it's human. Meanwhile, finance teams are expected to do more with less, faster approvals, tighter controls, and smarter decisions. And that's where lean financial operations and AP automation come in. This isn't just about adding another tool to your tech stack, it's a strategic shift that brings automation, visibility, and control directly into your ERP. AP touches every dollar that leaves the business. So when approvals stall, data doesn't match, or controls rely on manual steps, margins quietly erode. Lean financial operations reframes AP as a strategic function, one that helps finance move faster while staying firmly in control. And if you're a numbers person, to put things into perspective, 84% of firms still rely on paper or semi-automated AP processes. That's a huge number. 1 in 3 invoices have errors, and you're not just wasting time fixing them, you're actually wasting money. One firm that I actually worked with quite recently found that correcting AP errors cost them an average of $500 per mistake, once you factor that in with labor and vendor penalties. So 60% of finance teams cite that chasing invoices is the top bottleneck and draining the most of their time. So let's talk about the foundation of modern AP processes and how the work actually moves through your organization. First, we have dynamic approval workflows. Use lets you mirror the real approval structures you already use, no matter how simple or complex. You can build unlimited routing steps, automate the handoffs, and keep everything synced directly with Acumatica. The result is faster approvals without giving up any control. Secondly, we have mobility. AP doesn't stop just because someone isn't at their desk. With Use, approvers can review invoices and POs, access supporting documents, comment, reassign, or place holds, all from their phone, laptop, or tablet. This means approvals keep moving across job sites, factory floors, and anywhere that work happens, preventing delays that impact vendors and margins. And finally, ERP alignment. Use mirrors Acumatica's dimensions, so project and cost information stay consistent from capture all the way through payment. Finance and operations see the same data in the same structure and without manual cleanup or reentry. So together, these three pieces create an AP workflow that's fast, flexible, and fully aligned with your ERP, which sets the stage for the intelligence and control that we'll look at next. So now that we've covered how you streamlines the flow of work with dynamic approvals, mobility, and ERP alignment, let's look at what happens next, how you gain intelligence, accuracy, and protection across the entire AP cycle. On the left, we start with actionable AP insight. Use reports gives you real-time visibility into everything happening in AP. Reports are exportable, easy to share, and pivot ready, so teams can quickly analyze spend, spot trends, and present clean data to leadership without extra work. It turns AP into something you can actually use to make decisions. In the center, we have automated PO matching, which is all about accuracy and control. Use supports two-way and three-way matching, handles partial receipts, and routes exceptions through workflows so nothing gets stuck or overlooked. And with line level matching coming soon, you'll get even more precision across every purchase. And on the right is fraud prevention, which is becoming essential for every finance team. Use flags anomalies, catches duplicates, detects fake invoices with smart fake detection, and maintains a complete audit trail. It's designed to protect your processes without slowing them down. And once your workflows are fast, mobile, and aligned with Acumatica, these layers of insight and protection give you the confidence to scale AP without adding any risk. So to wrap up this portion of how lean financial operations is about removing manual work and rework while embedding the controls that keep spend accurate and cash protected, Use delivers this by automating AP intelligence built directly into the process, so teams move faster without adding any risk. The result is an AP function that scales, improves visibility, and protects margins. As the business grows, with use, AP becomes a strategic driver of lean financial operations, not just a back office task. So here on the screen, you'll see some of the stats and information about our company. And some things that I'd like to point out really quick before I give you a really high level use overview is that we actually have been in AI for over 35 years. We were born in the cloud in 2010, and we've remained a family-owned and privately held company ever since. So, we've processed millions of documents every year. We have over 600,000 users. And a few things that I find really interesting are that we have developed over 1,000 hours to research and development, and that we've published over 100 scientific papers on AI and machine learning. So what that really means is we're not just trying to keep up with the future of AI, we are actually shaping it here at Use. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen really quickly. And actually, let me just pull another window over here. Give me 2 seconds. And I knew that would happen. All right. So, Amy, can you confirm that you're able to see the Use interface?
I am.
Okay, perfect. Let me move this out of the way. All right, wonderful. So What you see here is our main user interface. It's super simple, it's modern, it's intuitive. And what we love about this is really having a client first mentality. So we want to make use easy for any user to use, right? You see that we do have a few different components within the application. And then we also have a really great search and reporting tool. This is probably one of my favorite features of Use. It's Google-like, and it's able to find documents based on keywords because every word on every document is actually full text indexed through AI. So completely searchable. A few things I want to point out, I did mention in the overview is that, we do have that line level detail coming soon. And so just to give you a high level, you can see with Use, you do get the full invoice image on the side here. We also have all of our header field data that's been automatically captured through AI. And then what you see here is that we have several lines on this invoice. And I will point out that we have a few different PO numbers. Now, as I scroll through the lines here at the bottom, you'll see that Use has actually intelligently matched these lines to the lines that are listed there on the invoice and even across multiple PO numbers. So making that really easy to just sort for discrepancies or look for missing items within the PO-based invoice process. One other thing I'd love to point out here while we've got just 2 minutes is vendor statement reconciliation. I know this is a big part of what a lot of folks do in AP every day. And one thing that's great about Use is we have the ability to automate that functionality. So as you see, I'm hovering over these different invoices on this vendor statement. Use is actually showing us at the bottom here where that aligns. Now, vendor statement reconciliation has just become a lot easier because all I have to do is click this matching tab and it's going to bring that discrepancy right to the top. So I know who I need to reach out to, or the vendor I need to reach out to here about which invoice and what the error may be. So if you're interested in seeing more of what Use has to offer, we'd love for you to visit our website and send over any questions that you may have.
All right. Thank you so much, Terry.
Thank you, Amy.
That was a great high-level overview. So yeah, if you want to learn more about any of these solutions, you guys can certainly reach out to them or reach out to me and I'll get you connected. All right, we are down to 2. Next up is Crestwood Associates. Hey, Sean, are you going to be presenting today?
I will be, Amy. Thank you.
Sure.
Share my screen. Oh. I'm getting an error. It says Terry needs to stop sharing or I can share.
Okay. Terry, can you stop sharing?
Yeah, it's actually not letting me.
Okay.
Let me just leave the meeting if that's okay.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
So that's so weird.
Sorry.
No worries. I've never had that problem before.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, let's see. All right, now I have the ability to share. Let's make sure I picked the right screen.
I'll let you know when I can see it. All right. Looks good. You are ready to go.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you to everyone for attending Acumatica Demo Day. I know you've been on for a long time, so really appreciate you staying and hanging around to learn a little bit more about Crestwood products. We have 2 new Crestwood products that we're going to show today, ACH Auto Match and Collections Overview Risk Insights. But as many of you may know, we have a number of Crestwood products available. The Efficiency Series helps organizations reduce manual steps across Acumatica. It includes tools for collections, commissions, lockbox processing, order rules, master record approval, auto kitting, and now AR powered by AI. Each product is shaped by real client requirements and developed by Acumatica certified experts. We've had lockbox processing for quite some time, and we still have plenty of clients using this solution. However, as most of you probably know, paper check payments are definitely on the back nine at this point, and more companies are moving towards ACH payments to become more efficient in their payment processing. ACH Auto Match was designed for this. ACH remittances arrive in different formats and often require teams to review emails, open attachments, search for invoice numbers, and manually apply payments in Acumatica. This slows down cash application and increases the risk of errors. ACH Auto Match uses Azure Cognitive Services to read remittance details, extract structured data, and provide suggested invoice applications for review and approval. The goal is not to replace user judgment, but to reduce the manual work that comes from inconsistent remittance formats. Organizations gain speed, accuracy, and clearer exception handling. ACH Auto Match is designed for Acumatica financial teams that want a practical way to accelerate cash application without adding complexity or new systems. Setup is lightweight and managed by Crestwood. An ACH Auto Match can be used in conjunction with lockbox processing. So if you're still accepting check payments and getting more and more ACH payments, you can use both. Let's now take a look at how this solution works. Emails are received with remittance data. Multiple options like dragging attachment data, printing emails to PDF and dragging in, or setting up an email address like remittance@abccompany.com can be monitored to pull in data. Once the info is read, it's populated on the screen, and the PDF is also shown on screen to ease the validation. Line item detail is reviewed, and then the Create Payments button is clicked. This takes you to the Payment and Application screen, and you select the record that you want to process. You then follow standard Acumatica processing for applying payments in Acumatica. Nothing special to go on after that except following your normal business process. I think, as you can see, this is pretty good for saving people time and making sure that all the correct data comes into your system appropriately. Another tool that we already have and we have plenty of clients using is collections management. This solution allows users to create collection plans, assign clients to the plans, and have collectors follow up on those plans. And it automates the sending of emails, setting phone calls for collectors to make, and even allows for escalations to management as needed. Our collections overview and risk insights is a tool that helps the collections management product become an even stronger tool. Collections teams often manage large aging reports without a clear method for identifying which accounts need attention first. The collections AI overview analyzes payment patterns, historical notes, and outstanding balances to create a short written summary that clarifies each customer's AR story. A calculated risk score highlights changes in behavior and helps teams understand which accounts carry the highest exposure. This gives collectors a practical way to prioritize work and apply consistent follow-up strategies. Instead of searching through notes and aging schedules, teams gain a clear view of risk and can focus time where it matters most. The feature is designed for organizations that want to improve cash flow visibility and strengthen collections processes inside Acumatica without adding a separate system. Now let's take a look at how this tool works. First, you will select your customer. Next, you will click the Generate Risk Score button. You can see on the right side of the screen, we have days past due, on-time payment ratio, account age and outstanding balance ratio, which are configurable, and these data points generate the risk score. As the tool is used over time, you will see the risk history grow. This functionality is also available directly in the Crestwood Collections Management module. And we'll take a second to show that here. Again, you will select the customer once you get into collections management. And then your next step is to navigate to the AI Insights tab and follow the same process as described earlier. All the same features are available through the collections management module. All of this functionality is built using Acumatica's AI Studio functionality. Configurable weights, as I mentioned previously, to generate the risk scoring calculation. We're also able to assist with configuration of the LLM, large language model connection, if needed. And we provide initial prompt definition for you to tailor or edit. Risk score and AI insights are available to incorporate right into your collections management dashboards. Historical tracking of risk scores and insights for trend analysis are available. And anomaly detection can be added for managing customers based on risk. Future enhancements are already planned to have AI assistant integration with AI insights and collection manager data, as well as collection plans based on the risk score. As I think you can see, there's a lot more coming from Crestwood, leveraging all of the AI functionality that Acumatica is building into the product and leveraging for developers and users and consultants to use. We do thank you very much for taking the time to review our new products today, and we'd be happy to discuss further the new products and any of the other Crestwood products that are available. Please don't hesitate to send an email my way or give me a phone call, and I'm happy to discuss things further, schedule discovery calls, and even schedule full-blown demos of any of our solutions if that's something that you're interested in. Again, we thank you for your time today and appreciate you spending a little bit with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing those new products, Sean. That was great.
Thank you.
All right, we are down to the last one. Are we ready, Ken from Avalara?
Hi there. Yeah, absolutely.
And let me just get back to stop sharing.
Okay.
And if I can figure out how to get back.
That's weird. Are you having the same issue?
I am having the same issue.
That is
Yeah,
so
the video
weird.
changed on me, and I'll see if I can get. Oh,
Oh, I see a picture of your kids now.
I know. All
Ken,
right,
oh, there
here
we
we
go.
go. Now I can stop.
Woohoo! All right.
Is that working now?
That is working. I see your slides. You are ready to go,
Okay.
Ken.
All good?
Yep.
All right. Well, I will try to make this quick. I know it's at the end of the session here, but wanted to say thank you so much for your time. My name is Ken Davis. I'm part of the Product Solutions Engineering team at Avalara. And today we're going to be taking a look at exemption certificate management and how it works directly inside of Acumatica using Avalara and our exemption certificate management tool. And we're also going to talk about more about why that matters as businesses grow and sell across many states and more states where you continue to grow. I can get my computer to work. Un momento. There we go. So before I jump into the demo, just a quick bit of context. Since the Wayfair decision, you all may know this, tax compliant isn't limited to where you have offices anymore, meaning that whole notion of physical presence really isn't the only factor that states look at to deem you have nexus there. So now more than ever, it's important for businesses to pay attention to all of the tax rules in every state where you sell, because the rules have changed in the sense of Now states are looking at taxable as well as exempt sales, whereas before they never looked at exempt sales. So understanding those rules really helps you ensure that you are being compliant when it comes to Nexus. As Acumatica customers grow, so does that complexity. And unfortunately, that complexity comes pretty fast. And it comes in many forms when you think about, say, new states where you now have an obligation to start collecting tax and collecting certificates. Perhaps you are starting to sell through marketplaces. So you've got new channels that you're actually doing business in that you weren't before, as well as just new technologies. E-commerce shopping carts, mobile apps, I know are really big today. And all this to say that really, exempt sales don't necessarily reduce complexity. Unfortunately, they often, easy to say, but they often increase it. And primarily because now you've got more channels, more states that you're tracking. That requires you to track more documents as well. So you're going to have more exemption documents that you're going to need to track. So the key issue here really is that, you know, at the end of the day, customers provide you with exemption certificates, right? And it's on you as the seller to keep track of those certificates. So that burden of proof really lives with you. And that really comes into play when you think about an audit. So if you were under an auditor is going to come to you and they'll want to look at your invoices for a period of time. And if they come across an invoice where no tax has been collected or calculated, they want to understand why. And so they're going to ask you to provide a document, an exemption certificate to support it. And in the event that you're not able to support it, well, then guess what? That particular document becomes taxable. And so now you're on the hook for really being responsible for the tax that wasn't calculated there. I like this next slide here because it really does speak to really why this really matters and really the pain that this can cause by simply not collecting a single certificate, whether you missed it or you had an invalid certificate. It's important that you have that valid certificate on file. So in this example, by missing that one, not having that certificate, it resulted in tens of thousands of dollars in back taxes, penalties, and interest. And in this example, it compounded into a $43,000 tax bill that the business was not expecting. So it really does explain really why it does matter because no one really wants to have that additional tax bill. And it also lends to the point of why it's important to have best practices around managing your certificates. So certificates need to be requested, and they need to be requested on time. So ideally, before you actually go to invoice, you've requested a copy of that certificate so that you're not applying any tax to that customer invoice. Um, so you need to have a good process for requesting those certificates. You need to have a good process in which someone is reviewing or validating those certificates. You also need to have a good practice for where am I going to store those certificates? Are they in a folder or are they on a digital folder or file? Or am I storing them within my ERP system? You need to have a central place where you know those certificates are stored and where you can easily access them. And then the final piece is you really want to make sure that you have a valid certificate on file. You may know this, but in some states, certificates expire. In another state, that same type of certificate may be good forever. So it's important that someone's tracking that and that you always ensure that you have an accurate, valid certificate always current on file. And what we find here is that the customers that have the biggest challenge when they are looking for a solution, and it's because they've been trying to do it manually, and it's just become too difficult to try to track it, say, on a spreadsheet or in a file folder, or through even your staffing out there. And so that's where we tend to see the breakdown when you try to do it manually outside of your ERP system. So that's where Avalara and Acumatica come together here for you. So Avalara integrates directly with Acumatica, so exemption management happens as part of your normal workflow, meaning that it's in the Acumatica UI. So you're able to manage those exemption certificates while you're working within Acumatica. So no longer are you having to have that file folder that's down the hall or have that spreadsheet that you're trying to track on an Excel document. You're able to do it within the Acumatica solution itself. Okay. All right, so I'm going to switch screens here, so bear with me just a second. But what I'm going to do now is just show you an example of what the Avalara certificate management system looks like within Acumatica, within a customer profile here. So bear with me just a second as I move over to my next screen here. Okay, so now I have moved over to the Acumatica demo account. And I have a customer profile set up here. This is my customer ABC Holdings. And I have them set up with the Avalara Exemption Certificate Management System within Acumatica. So let's say that I need to request a copy of their California resale certificate. While you're here directly in Acumatica, all you have to do here is next to the View Account button here, there will be three dots here. You click those three dots, you're going to see a pop-up window appear. Towards the bottom of the screen, you will have a menu of options here. So in order to request a certificate, simply click this Request Certificate button. This opens up a window where you're able to basically retrieve some basic information to trigger that request, that email that you want to send to your customer. So things like an email address. So let's say we're sending it to your customer, whatever email address you want to send it to, you can enter that there. Certificate request template, we give you the ability to use pre-built email templates that we've already designed for you, or you can create your own custom email template that can be used to send those requests out to your customer. I'm just going to use an example of one here. This is just a default template. And then the next thing is we need to choose the state. So I want to get a California resale certificate. So I'm going to choose California. And then when I go to the reason for the exemption, I'm going to choose California here, or sorry, resale, excuse me. Okay. All right, so I simply select that resale certificate, and I'm going to click the request button. Now you can see on the screen that the Acumatica system has received that request, and it's basically triggered off an email to be sent directly to your customer. What happens is your customer will receive a link to a tool we call Avalara Cert Express. I'm going to just switch screens one more time here on you, just to show you what that looks like. So here, again, I've got our ABC Holdings here. I requested a California resale certificate. And using Avalara's AI tools, our exemption certificate system understands all the different forms that are available in all the different jurisdictions. And so we've identified that this is the form that is required. At this point, the customer can import a copy of their certificate here by clicking the import, or they can use this little wizard here. This is a little wizard where the customer fills in information that is on that certificate. The customer then signs the certificate. So I'll put my name here, put my title here, and then I'm going to sign the certificate. And in essence, a copy of that customer's exemption certificate gets generated here, and it sends a copy of that certificate right back into your Acumatica portal here. So I'm going to go back to my Acumatica screen and show you how we can retrieve that certificate that was just generated here. So when I get back over to the customer profile, I'll go back up to those three little dots here. And as I scroll down to the certificates section, I can retrieve certificates here. Here is where you will see the actual new certificate that's been retrieved here. It's got the date that it was retrieved. And if I click here, I'll see a copy of the actual certificate that was generated here. So it's a great tool to help you store and manage those exemption certificates. Behind the scenes, what's happening is that the Avalara exemption certificate management system is tracking that certificate and tracking it to ensure that the certificate is valid. So it goes through some validation checks. And it's also checking to identify if there are any exemption expirations on the certificates. And one of the additional tools you'll get with this service is the ability to have automation tools where the system is automatically sending out requests to your customers to request those new certificates when they expire. That concludes my demo here today, and I really thank you all for your time. I'm going to give it back over to Amy. But if you do need or have questions or would like to have a deeper dive demo, we are more than happy to coordinate that with you. Just contact Acumatica or Avalara. We also have a webinar coming up on March 11th, where we will be taking a deeper dive into the exemption certificate management solutions here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for wrapping up Acumatica Demo Day, Ken. And making exemption certificates easy. I know, no one wants to deal with paper anymore, that's for sure.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for attending today. As I mentioned, we'll be sending out a recording email sometime early next week, so stay tuned for that. And feel free to reach out to me if you'd like, if you have any questions or want me to help introduce you to any of the solutions that you've seen today. So with that, I am going to wrap up Acumatica Demo Day. So thank you so much everyone for being here. I truly do appreciate it. Bye.